Hey, beloved. Welcome to another Quarantine and Creativity with Queen G. I'm going to give y'all a minute to come on in the room, as Auntie Tap would say. Your girl is feeling good today, so it's going to be a good night. And as I was preparing some things business-wise, I came across an old free write that's 4 years old, but just as relevant now as it was back then. So we're going to hear some poetry tonight. I know we have it in a couple weeks, so this is an exciting time. We're going to hear some poetry tonight. We are going to have some good conversations. We're going to get into the lighting isn't showing it, but we're going to get into the fact that I have blue-green hair now. So we're going to get into all of those things. So I'm going to give you all a moment to come on in the room and join us for a night of quarantine and creativity. Oh, and I also pulled another poem from way back. Well, it actually inspired the title of my first chapbook that was released in 2016, December 2016. Hey, Alicia. And I haven't done that piece in so long. So we're going to do that tonight as well. Once we get rolling here on in the room. And then we'll also talk about some, hey, Mia, look at all these beautiful people. And then we're going to talk about some affirmations. I know every so often we go over them. We're going to go over some more tonight because you all deserve to be affirmed. I deserve to be affirmed. We should intentionally realign ourselves with the good things that God has for us, and the promises that He's spoken over us. Yes, yes. Look at you beautiful people all in the room. Hey, y'all, the Peyton sisters are here. Hey, guys. Okay, so I have a couple announcements. As most of you know, because I won't stop talking about it, I turned 30 real soon. My 30th birthday, yes, I was born in 1990. I am a July baby. My 30th birthday is on July 21st, which is in 8 days, I believe. And so birthdays are like personal New Year's for me. I think they're seasons of reflection. I think they're seasons of gratitude. Oh, Alicia's turning 32. Alicia's turning 30 on the 25th. Hey, fine, get in the room. So it's definitely a time of excitement. It's a time of reflection. Hey, Jasmine. It's a time of celebration, obviously. It's a time of gratitude to think about and send gratitude to God for the fact that we are here, right? Every year that we still exist, especially as in the body that I exist in. Every year that happens is a miracle, especially in the body that I live in and in the country that I live in. But I will say, even beyond that, because of my testimony and what I've been through, it's celebration worthy. And I used to despise birthdays. I used to avoid them. I used to not talk about them because I was worried about being disappointed, because I was worried, hey, Des, that the love that I put out wasn't going to return to me. And so I just was like, man, whatever. And then I resolved within myself that I'm a person who likes birthdays. I celebrate everyone's birthday around me, and I should be no different, that I'm worthy of celebration, and that my life is miraculous. There are so many ways and times and seasons where the enemy tried to take me out. And so for every year that I am here and every year that I'm breathing, it is another season of purpose. So we're going to turn up. So we're going to make it a big deal because it's a big deal. Do you know how many things have to be aligned and to go right for me to be alive, living, breathing, clothed, fed, walking, speaking, talking, moving? I mean, all of that is miraculous. Then to be of sound mind, to have purpose, to have passion, destiny. Yeah, but we not doing that anymore. It's ta for that, girl. We about to be birthday people. That's what we're gonna be. Because when your birthday is just about basic things, it can feel, or when you haven't been properly celebrated, it can feel negative. Or there are a lot of things that make us have weird associations with our birthdays. But I believe when we're in right perspective and we understand that, like, you being alive is a God thing, every week we come on here and I say, if you're still breathing, If you're still alive, you have to what? Keep living. I say that on a weekly basis. But think about a year's worth, 365 days worth of breath, of triumph. That is celebration worthy. If for no other reason than that God is glorious, right? And that you were a good idea that God had. Destiny said, if you're a church girl, you know Destiny struggles. She's actually born on New Year's Eve. And so it's always watch night, so it's a little harder to celebrate. But what I'm saying is, let's be more intentional. Maybe we don't celebrate on watch night. Maybe we celebrate the day before. Maybe we celebrate on New Year's Day. We find a new way to celebrate. We let's be intentional about that. And people may think I'm extra. That's their business. That ain't none of my business. People may think I'm doing the most. Again, that's their business. That ain't none of my business. We can get in church and say, if you knew what I went through, you would praise like I praise, right? We say all kinds of stuff like that. But then we act like we try to act like birthdays don't matter. We try to be humble. I'm not here for performative humility. I'm here for a truly humble heart, but I can be humble and confident at the same time, right? I can be humble and celebratory of what God brought me out of. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, I don't believe that you have to celebrate for on that day alone. I believe you celebrate as long as you feel like you need to celebrate, because every time you celebrate, when you have a rightful mindset, is an opportunity to honor God. It's an opportunity to be like, haha, devil. There is a poem by Lucille Clifton that I posted recently on my social media, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's saying, it talks about like, look at us thriving. Look at the joy that's come from everything that tried to kill us, and yet we are here. I usually know it verbatim, but it's been a long weekend, y'all. My brain is still not turned all the way on yet, so you're gonna have to give me some grace. But essentially, that's the heart of the poem, and that's what I think about in this season. And yes, we're turning up all month, and you better believe I'm turning 30 in the middle of a quarantine. Are you? Oh, I'm turning up. Anyway. And Destiny, if you want to do a mid-year birthday and say, June, you turning up in June because you feel like it, because you want to celebrate a half birthday, you can do that because that's your business and can't nobody tell you otherwise. Anyway, now that that's out of the way, so speaking of it being birthday season for me, there is going to be a surprise birthday launch that I've been working really hard on, and I'm really excited because we're entering into a new season and we're entering into a new decade, and so you guys are going to come along with me. Also, it's my birthday, but you all are going to get gifts because that's what we do around here. We believe in celebration and we believe in generosity. So some Queen G stuff is going to be released. Some new merch is going to be released. I'm not going to tell you everything. You're just going to have to stay tuned on my social media to find out. Also, some resources that are available and some services that I provide will be discounted for a friends and family rate. Even if you are not a friend, you're a part of the Queen G family. And so all of that is happening in the next 8 days, and it's super exciting. So make sure that you stay tuned in. So for those of you who came in a little bit later, when I first logged in, I talked about today, we are going to do some throwback pieces that I haven't done in a really long time, like they popped out from the archive. And then we are also going to have a little bit of discussion. I know we usually do poems, but I haven't done a poem for like 2 weeks. So we're going to get right back into that. And also just a reminder that I have a Patreon. What is a Patreon? Patreon is an opportunity for the wonderful community that supports artists to find a new way to, on their end, contribute like a subscription like you would for Netflix or anything else. Monthly, you contribute financially monthly. For my program, it's as little as $3 a month. Y'all, that's not even a good cup of coffee. Hey, Lyric. Oh, look at all these beautiful people. All my favorite people are coming into the room. My sister's in here too. Hey, Vera. Oh, yeah. So, Patreon. So, for as little as $3 a month. And each level comes with special content that nobody else has access to and different perks for each level. And for those of you who want access to things like consulting and one-on-one coaching and online courses and all of that fun stuff, I have that built in to the program. So you do not want to miss it. If you're unsure of what it's like and you want to learn more about it, you can head over to patreon.com/QueenGCreative. Queen G Poetry. I love doing stuff like this. I love doing free stuff for y'all and putting out free content. And this is a way, if you want to continue to receive content or to see some bigger things happen, to sow into Queen G Poetry so that I can continue to consistently provide you all with content. Also, because we're entering into a new decade, I'm not going to get into everything, y'all. I'm going to release the information as it comes, and you just going to have to be hip. But another thing that I'm excited about is I am also doing commissions. If you are on my IG, you see that I do these artistic and creative graphics from photos. I can take something as simple as a selfie, and I do creative work to it and produce an art piece or a product. My favorite product so far, hey, beautiful. Look at all you lovely people joining in the room. My favorite project and commission that I've done thus far is for Ashley Hayes. She happens to be one of my favorite people, and it's one of my favorite colors, and purple is the theme. And if you want to see what that work looks like, make sure you check out Ashley Hayes on her social media, on her Instagram. But I'll also be posting some of that. I'm probably going to post that project on my profile. I'm also working on one for right now, Countess B Influencer, and there's some other things in the works. So if you're interested in that, that is also available for you. Or you can just join Patreon, and it's one of the perks on one of the levels. You get a free commission included. You can get a free commission of a graphic. You can get a free commission of a poem. Head over to Patreon, y'all. We got a lot of stuff going on over there. Okay, so you guys know we're launching surprise birthday things, and it's gonna be lit. You guys know about Patreon. That is also simultaneously lit. And you know that new merch is on the way. Okay, so I wasn't gonna do this because I'm just excited right now. I can't wait to show you guys new stuff. Okay, so before we get into the poem, I wasn't gonna do this, but I'm going to share a little preview of some of the new merch that's coming. I'm not going to show you what it is, but I'm going to tell you, right? There's going to be some new merch. Unskinny and Unbothered, our old faithful, the most popular item that is on the Queen G Poetry merch site, is expanding. Which means it's not only going to be on t-shirts and coffee mugs and sweatshirts. There's going to be an Unskinny and Unbothered bathing suit, an Unskinny and Unbothered beach towel. For those of my people who like to work out or work out even when they don't like to, hello me, struggling out the bed to get to that track, but we do it, right? We have Unskinny and Unbothered leggings that are coming out. Trust me when I say good things are coming, y'all. Good things are coming. Make sure you're aware. And also, if there is enough requests for it, we'll do slim and snatch and edges. For everything that we have for Unskinny and Unbothered, we'll do slim and snatch and edges. I also have new merch. I can't do it. I was going to share with some of you what was going on, but y'all just going to have to wait and see. I can't do it. I can't share it too soon. I'm too excited. I can't share it. Okay, so for those of you who haven't noticed, on my other social media, or maybe you didn't see in the light, you can't see it in this lighting, but my hair is blue-green right now because it's a new hair for a new decade. So get into it. If you can't see it right now, that's okay. It's because the lighting. But there are some photos. Get into it. Okay, we're turning up for 30. We're holding nothing back for 30. Okay, so let's get into a poem. I think we're ready for a poem. So, as you all know, don't mind me, my face is the first to sweat. Judge lest ye be judged. Okay, so there's a lot of terrible news that we are inundated with every day. If it's not about the pandemic, it's about people dying from the pandemic. It's about people dying because of institutionalized racism or their phobias or fill in the blank. And it can be super overwhelming. It can be all-consuming. Sometimes we even have this feeling where we feel so guilty for scrolling past or turning the internet off or leaving our social media because we feel like we need to be in the know. Especially some of us as millennials, I've definitely been guilty of that. This piece is a piece that I wrote as a free write a while ago because I scrolled past something and I knew it had to do with the death, and it is exasperating. And I knew it had to do with something, as Jasmine said, that would be exasperating for me. And I was trying to reconcile my guilt over that with my obligation to know things, but also my self-preservation. It just felt really draining. It felt really complicated. So I wrote about it. I don't think I've ever done this piece out loud. And it's a super throwback. It's from 2016. And this is called Drown. To be numb or succumb to the undertow. Sometimes it is not apathy. It is survival. To breathe quietly or to drown. If I think today, if I talk today, it will be like breathing in the water, like sucking seas into my lungs, and I will not know if the burning is death or passion. For today, the sear of wave flickers like flame, burns my lips together, melts my raised fist like wax, says, haven't you made many a watery grave? Do you really feel like dying again today? Adorning there, that black skin always mourning every morning, always ready for the day's funeral, always writing eulogies no one will ever hear. Today, I will not protest with sound or wailing. I will pretend the tide is not rising. Pretend seawater isn't kissing my chin, isn't slicing my throat. Act like I didn't notice the ocean turn to blood. Pretend the blood is not his, is not hers, is not mine. Pretend it has no name. Scroll. Sometimes it is survival. Hey, Kimmy. And that's how it feels sometimes. I've learned to give myself grace. Hey, Beautifies the Meek, aka Zainab. If you don't follow Beautifies the Meek, you absolutely need to. Amazing modesty fashion blog and all things Jesus, all things thoughtful and reflective and all that good stuff. So yeah, I've learned to give myself grace in self-care. And sometimes self-care does look like logging out. And sometimes self-care does look like scrolling past. And sometimes we have to prevent ourselves from being triggered in order to be of some good. If we let this stuff consume us, we won't, not only are we a disadvantage to our own selves, and we need to make sure that we're prioritizing self-care, but we are also doing damage to others because we won't be able to be of service to them. Eventually we will be hollowed out, and that's not what we want. We'll have empathy fatigue, compassion fatigue, where we can't even process the grief, see someone in grief and feel that for ourselves. Oh, thank you, Zaynab. Hey girl, trying to 30 got me feeling kind of good, girl. I'm feeling kind of good. But it's so important, right? We want to make sure that we still have a capacity to empathize, that we still have a capacity to feel without it drowning us all of the time. And for those of you who have the gift of compassion, those of you who maybe call yourselves empathetic, you know that can be overwhelming and it can be inundating. And so that's what that piece is about. And I hope that you give yourself grace. Okay, I've had to remind myself that I'm not being negligent by scrolling past. You are not being negligent. Sometimes you have to take care of yourself, and it is okay. And we have to know where we are in our journey too, because sometimes we aren't fully healed for certain things. And you may hear about a case or see the title of something and immediately know, whoo, that is going to take me under. And I'm not ready for that. I know that is going to be super triggering to me. And you have to know that it is okay. That you don't owe anybody anything but your best self. That's all we owe the world. The best version of ourselves that we can bring to it. And you can't bring your best self if you are drowning. Right? Like, how are you going to bring breath into a situation if you can't breathe? You can't do that. So I just wanted to encourage y'all to release yourselves. If you haven't, release yourself. You can care for yourself, and you are not failing the fight for justice. You're being human, and that is okay. And when you take the time to be human, you become a better human. When we try to avoid our humanness is when we tend to fail as humans. I know it sounds backwards, but that's how the system works. That's how it makes sense. So during a time like this where we're just overtaken by so much negativity, it's okay to scroll sometimes. It's okay. Take care of yourself. Do what you need to do, regroup, and come back. And also, we can't put out all the fires in the world. I would love to champion every cause and take care of everything and pour myself into everything. We cannot take on everything. We do not have the capacity for that. We are not God. However, we can use what we have in the sphere of influence that we are appointed to do the good that we're called to. That's what we're responsible for. Zainab says you can't bring... Yeah, you can't. Okay. So that being said, I just wanted to empathize with y'all a little bit in that area. But speaking of caring for yourself and prioritizing yourself and thinking about yourself, let me just say that I told y'all you can't tell me nothing today because I feel good. But I think I overall feel good. I don't know what it is about this season of birthday time, but I feel good. I was working on some secret stuff I won't tell y'all all about this weekend with some amazing people whose work I support and whom I love dearly for a myriad of reasons. And y'all know I love to shout people out. So as soon as we release the surprise, everybody and their mama getting tagged. Everybody and their mama getting tagged. But I just, after the weekend, even though it took everything out of me, it was wonderful. It took everything out of me. I really found myself waking up on Monday morning, this morning. I was like, I feel good. I'm still recuperating. I'm still trying to get some rest because I really didn't sleep or eat much last week. 0 out of 10, do not recommend. Don't do that. I'm almost 30 now. I ain't 19 no more. It's not college no more. I can't be doing stuff like that no more. But I have a tendency to get really consumed with things. Like if I'm in the zone, I was in the zone for a project and had a lot of stuff to get done, so I was really focused on that. And that's a mistake that I'm not going to be making anymore. But so I took care of myself. I said Sunday after I serve at my church, I'm going to be recuperating, and I did my best to do just that. And I woke up Monday feeling really good. And I think about how many times, and I say this all the time, I have been conditioned, and so many of us have been conditioned to, I see the threats, guys. I'm on it. I'm working on it. I'm trying to practice what I preach here. But, we've been conditioned to think that we are not enough and we're too much simultaneously. And I think about, I have to tell you guys too, so I guess this will transition a little bit into what I'm talking about. So this project, in contrast to how I felt today, today I felt amazing. I mean, I woke up, how when you first in the sun and you getting tan and you getting dark, but it's like uneven, it didn't really settle in yet. And then you let it cook for like a day or two, you let it settle, and you see yourself in a day or two and you're like, oh, okay. So that happened, right? I woke up and I was like, oh. I'm getting dark, honey, but I'm getting dark like the kind that gives you a summer glow. Okay. And then, I was in my, little sports bra and shorts and stuff. And I was like, I don't look at the scale, but I feel good. Like certain things I've been doing, it's easier to do. I feel good in my body. My waist is looking like she looking, and I'm not mad at her. Okay. I was like, okay, waist. Okay, then my hair dye came in today, and I said, you know what, self, I'm gonna dye my hair today. I'm gonna dye it a little blue-green situation, and I dyed my hair, and I was like, I love my hair. My locks are growing. My hair looks great. I like my deeper, richer summer complexion. I'm feeling good in my body. My body is looking great, and it's not skinny. Right? That's why we say hashtag unskinny and unbothered. It's not your drastically smaller. I just feel good. It feels good. It feels healthier. And I was just like, girl, God is, and then I went on a gratefulness spiral where I was just thinking about how good God is. and how all the little details that I had been praying for, things I didn't expect to happen, were coming together. I think about the ways that I'm growing and how I've grown so much during the quarantine. I started thinking about how God is attentive to even the littlest things that I'm asking for. I was just on a gratefulness spiral, you know? I was watching Say I Do on Netflix, and it made me feel overwhelmed and love, because I love love. I'm super mushy on the inside. I'm a little bit of thug too, so don't get it twisted. But I am mushy on the inside, you know. So I was just feeling all the good things, and I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna put my makeup on today. Today, I'm gonna put some blue and green on my face to match with my blue and green earrings, to match with my blue shirt, to match with my hair. And you know what? Today, nobody's gonna tell me nothing, because something about having a spirit of gratitude, something about prioritizing yourself with your actions, right? Like the choices that you make, something about being reflective and intentional got me feeling myself, got me feeling real good. And I think it has to do with the birthday season. I think it has to do with turning 30. I think it has to do with settling into myself. I think it has to do with a God who answers my prayers. And the prayers that I pray, when I say I want him to make me a woman after his heart, I want him to deal with certain things. When I'm feeling the weight of things, that I give it to him, and feeling feeling the effects of that. I think it's all of those things. I think I'm being prepared for a new season. I think I'm being prepared for a new decade. And I feel like I'm enough. I feel like I'm fantastic. And I'm not going to apologize for that. It is too hot for makeup. Y'all should have seen how janky my makeup was looking when I was sweating my face off, baby. It was looking crazy. But because I'm in the house with a fan, I can get away with it today. And you know, I think about the other piece that says, well, you're not enough. You should be this, and this. And you're too much. You're too loud. You're too extra. You're too this. You're too that. And I'm just like feeling like I'm actually just enough. I'm not going to hide the fact that I'm feeling myself today. I'm not going to hide the fact that Jesus has been good to me. I'm not going to hide the fact that I have gifts. I'm not going to hide, and I'm not going to shrink, and I'm not going to apologize, right? Like I'm not going to be apologetic about how God has called me to take up space. Hey, Willie, yeah, my little sister's in here. I'm not going to do that. That's weird. It's over for that. We're not bringing that into the new decade. And I will identify with people who have that feeling of feeling like too much and not enough, because it is something that revisits me. It's not gone. But what I'm not going to do in the new decade is I use that as an identifier. I'm not going to align with it, so that's my identity. Well, you know, I always feel like I'm too much and not enough at the same time. That's not what God says about me, and so that's just not what we're doing. Period. That's not what we're doing. And if I feel good about myself, I'm not going to apologize for that. You know, we live in a world that sometimes that tells women, Laura, I mean, we can get into it. I don't even want to get into it. But it's like we're supposed to feel bad about ourselves. Like that makes us more virtuous, or that makes us more desirable, or whatever. We're conditioned to feel bad about ourselves, especially if we are not traditionally attractive. I'm not traditionally attractive according to European beauty standards. Not my body type, not my skin color, not my features. I'm not supposed to be. So when I am, it's like, how dare you? I dare. It me. Try to tell me something. You can't. Get into it. You can't tell me anything. And even that, as I've talked about in other pieces, that is a revolution and that is a protest. And so that being said, and me just feeling good and present in my body, I was talking to Jasmine about, you know, preparation. She helped coordinate the project. She helped coordinate the shoot. And I was just like, you know what? I was going to pay. Let me be real transparent with you guys. So I was taking pictures in, you know, outfits and all this stuff to get ready for what we're doing with Queen G Poetry. And I've been preparing for months. For months, I've been preparing for this thing. And I was just like, you know what? The one thing I don't have right now, I need a girdle. And I've been kind of like on an anti-girdle kick the past like 2 years. I've been trying to be super present. I can count on like 2 fingers how many times I've worn a real girdle in the past few years. To be intentional about that, to be intentional about showing up as my full self, with and even what that means about my belly and whether it's growing or shrinking, right? Like whether that's my belly line, and not trying to shrink and hide or fit some ideal of perfection. And the closer I get to 30, that was something that I wanted to do. And I know what I was like at a certain point in my 20s where I didn't leave the house without having a girdle that had my waist snatched like this, and having this on, and having heels on, having all this stuff on, not because I loved it, because I did love some of that stuff, but because I felt I had to do that. And so I was actively trying to protest against that by changing the way that I took up space in the world. So I didn't do girdles for a little while. And I was like, oh, I have to do this shoot though. I was like, but I don't have any like real Spanx. All my shorts got too much elasticity in them. You know, my girdle is already been through the wire and through the fire, and it's not very functional anymore, and it's just been sitting there because I haven't been wearing it for so long. And so I was like, I think I'm gonna have to invest in a girdle. Now, if you know about really, really good girdles, the girdles, they cost a lot of money, like upwards of $100. Some of them be like $150, that kind of money. And I was really contemplating, I was on the hunt for that. I was looking online, I was looking in the stores. I even put down a deposit to purchase one because they didn't have it in my size. And then, you know, and I try to pray about my decisions to make sure, you know, I'm being wise, and I try to be led about the Holy Spirit. And something in me was like, what are you doing? And I was like, what you mean what I'm doing? I'm trying to look snatched for the photo shoot. Like, this belly is getting in the way of my hourglass shape. Like, what's up? Like, I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? These are photos. This is 30. I'm supposed to be snatched. And it just kept kind of that question kept coming up. Like, what are you doing though? But like, why? And it's like, God had done all these things to make my dollar stretch and to give me things that I had asked for, and I got crazy favor for that, and I was going to turn around and like invest money in something that I'm not even really about right now. And it was like, for what? And so I was like, you know, I messaged Jasmine. I was like, you know what, the day before I was supposed to pick it up, I was like, I'm not doing that. I'm entering into a new decade, and I've done so much work over this last decade to move away from who I was at the beginning. A person who felt like they needed to do that. So what does it look like me beginning a new decade and then feeling like I have to conform? I have to give you an hourglass. I have to give you a flat belt. I have to give you this in order to what? Will you die if you see my belly? You won't die. As my good sis said in that video, it's the ginger. It's the stomach for me. It brings the ginger. And I really decided, like, if I want to show up in the world and I want to empower people to be their full selves, I got to do it by example. And so I said, you know what? You're going to get whatever comes out of this dress. Whatever these photographs capture, whatever this media and these projects, that's what you're going to get. And I'm not going to apologize. And if you guys don't know about these girdles, when you first put them on, it takes multiple people. Eventually it stretches and you can do it yourself, but it's like highly uncomfortable. It is, until it stretches, it's uncomfortable. Once you get used to it, you get used to it. But it's just like, why am I mutilating myself and then saying bump your beauty standards and then perpetuating that? There's some cognitive dissonance happening here. Right? So even in that, I was just like, I'm going to own it. Whatever body you get is the body you get. That's it. I'm not apologizing for it anymore. I'm not begging you to make room for it anymore. This is what you get. And, you know, I've been working out. I've been trying to do a bunch of squats. You know, I've been eating relatively healthy. And I thought that it was so I can have, you know, I can be high and lifted up in some places and snatched in other places. The gag is that that's not why God had me do it. He had me do it so that I would just feel good in my body, so that I would just feel better about it. It wasn't about the shrinking of the body. It wasn't about the lifting of the booty. It wasn't about those things. It was just about investing in something that's worthy and worthwhile. That's what it was about the whole time. So when I woke up and I felt good in myself on Saturday when I was working on this project. Even when I was sweating through my makeup and all my foundation was deteriorating. Even when I knew that there would probably be some belly in that picture. I felt settled in myself and I felt good about myself. Which is why I woke up Monday feeling like I was feeling. That's what God was trying to get me to. It wasn't about what I thought it was about in the first place. And so that was my challenge for myself. And that's how I showed up differently. I would like for you to tell me how you want to show up differently in an attempt of radical acceptance. What is one thing you can do? Destiny talked about letting her edges out, and I be doing that too, girl. Don't get twisted. This is what you get most of the time. You might have a little bit of slickage, minor slickage right now, but that's it. I encourage you and I challenge you. You know, every week I've been given different challenges. A couple weeks ago, it was about listening to It Keeps Happening for me, and big in the morning, and getting dressed in the morning even if you weren't going anywhere. Last week it was about using the affirmation, I am good soil, right? And I will no longer let my insecurity consume my seed. It was about saying that and saying other affirmations to ourselves. This week the challenge is for you to think about what you can do in an act of radical acceptance of yourself. Maybe it's a choice in what you wear. Maybe it's how you wear your hair. Maybe it's how you're going to interact or engage with people. Maybe it's practicing not saying sorry so much this week, right? Think about something that you can do in an act of radical acceptance for yourself. All right, let's get into the last poem and affirmations. I just want to remind you all, and I just want you to know that some of this stuff is going to be reflected in the new merch, so you better put your coins together. That you are already enough, that your beauty is already enough. The too much and the not enough is a myth. You are exactly what you are meant to be. You are exactly what you were created to be. Everything that you need to produce what you're called to is already inside of you. You cannot put it on alone the first time or two. Yeah, it's terrible. We showing up as our whole selves. That's what we're doing. That's what 30 is for. Y'all thought it was a game. It's not a game in these streets. Honestly, I struggle with showing up as my full self. I literally feel distant from myself, if that makes sense. Saying that makes a lot of sense. And I felt that before. I think meditation and self-reflection is a good way to interrogate that and think, what makes me feel? If you're feeling distance from yourself, I encourage you to ask, what makes me feel connected to myself? You know? What are the moments where I feel most present? What are the moments where I feel most confident? What am I thinking, doing, speaking, eating, whatever, when I feel the best about myself? What is my mindset when I'm in my most authentic self? I think if you take some time to reflectively pray and meditate and ask those questions, that will help you find a way to reconnect with yourself. Because that happens to all of us, especially when we're going through major changes, when we've experienced trauma, when we have experienced betrayals or major shifts. Like in those moments, we tend to feel disconnected from ourselves. Oh, hey, long time no see, Fidel. We tend to feel disconnected from ourselves. And so I think that's a way of really thinking about it. What makes you feel good about yourself? If you can identify that when you feel your best, you can create a plan or a strategy to reconnecting to yourself. For some people, they feel best when they're creating. Some people feel best when they're around their loved ones. Some people feel their fullest self when they're dressed up. I mean, some people feel their fullest self when they're in prayer mode, right? Some people feel their fullest self when they're listening to certain music. I mean, it all depends on where you are and what your process is. But I really think that will be helpful. And if you don't know when you feel best, it's a good question to start asking. So as you go through your day, you're like, I don't know what makes me feel good. Interrogate your feelings. Like, how do I feel right now? When you feel yourself laughing, you're like, okay, how do I feel right now? Do I feel joyful? Do I feel really good. Okay, I think this is something that helps me feel like my full self. So Jasmine Lynn says, I feel best when I'm singing full out. That's so important. Because if she is feeling disconnected from herself, one of the ways that she can reconnect her to herself is ask, am I singing? Even if I'm not on stage, am I creating spaces where I can sing with my whole self and my whole heart? And if not, maybe I need to do that in order to feel reconnected to myself. Um, Destiny said, I feel my best self in worship with close friends and with family. That is so important. I think I can definitely agree with some of those things as well. When you're fully lost in worship, it is so hard to be distracted by what you aren't, by your feelings of inadequacy, because you are caught up in the one who is worthy of it all. You're like transcending dimensions when you're in that space. And that's what we're created for. So it's really easy in that space to feel your best self because you're doing what you're created for. When you are with people who see you, where you don't have to have a guard up, when you feel loved and accepted, that can make you feel like it's your best self. So if you're feeling disconnected, have I been making time for that? Have I been doing that enough? When I'm in those spaces, am I being present enough so I can enjoy them? And if I'm not, what's stopping me from being present? Because this is where I get filled up. When you feel your best self, that's like filling yourself up. We talk a lot about love languages and how other people love us and how we love other people. But I saw a tweet the other day talking about what's your self-love language, which I thought was really interesting. And this is a good way to think about that. When do you feel the best? And how can you make sure you're speaking your own love language to yourself? Interrogating your feelings is important. A lot of times, especially as women, we tend to put our feelings on the back burner for the sake of other people, or for the sake of, we don't want to be too much or not enough. We don't want to be cumbersome. We don't want to be distracting. We don't want to be melodramatic. We feel like people won't see us, won't hear us, won't listen to us. So we kind of just get over our feelings. Or maybe we have so much stuff to do in the day, we ain't got time to really think about ourselves. And we have to be intentional about not allowing that to happen. We're taking some time to say, why am I? Even if, for example, sometimes I will be feeling really moody. I can be a moody person because I am wired to be sensitive. So I pick up on things very easily in the spirit, and I pick up on things very easily emotionally. And so sometimes I'll be feeling stuff and I'm like, I don't even know where this feeling is coming from. Immature me, when I'm not functioning in maturity, just owns that feeling. Mature me will be like, bro, whoa, let's take a second. Why are you feeling like this? What happened? What's the root of that feeling? And then if I'm getting spiritual on y'all, sometimes it's like, maybe that feeling isn't for me. Maybe I'm feeling something for somebody else, and God's just trying to make me aware of it so I can pray for them. Maybe I'm feeling angry, but I'm not really angry. I feel betrayed, or I feel hurt, or I feel whatever. And why is that feeling there? We need to take time for that, and we need to take time to understand your feelings are valid. If you understand your feelings are valid, you will take the time to interrogate them. We're conditioned to think that our feelings are invalid, and we need to just become really good at sweeping them away, or else we're not good Christians, or we're not mature women. We're just emotional. But you have emotions for a reason. They're good indicators. They're terrible gods. They're excellent indicators to signal something to you. So your feelings are valid. What you do with them, you're responsible for. But your feelings themselves are super valid. If you're moody lately, that is usually a signal for something. It means there's probably something else going on that is not being attended to, and your mood is swinging so that it can get your attention. Something's going on. Something beneath that level is showing up. And if you're irritated a lot, it usually is a secondary. Irritation, frustration, anger are secondary emotions. So they usually have something else lying beneath them. But they're showing up as anger or irritation, but it really might be something else. So really take time to think about your feelings. Don't just tell yourself, oh, I'm irritated and I shouldn't be. why am I moody right now? Why am I irritated? What's happening? And it usually is an indicator of malnourishment somewhere. Like something's not being attended to, something's not being fed, one of your feelings isn't being heard enough. Something is you typically going on there. So take the time to take care of yourself and interrogate your feelings and figure out, what's really going on with me? And if I'm not feeling good, what does make me feel good? And am I doing enough of what makes me feel good? Or am I doing too much of what doesn't make me feel good? Maybe we're taking in too much negativity and it's starting to impact us. Maybe we're taking in too much stress and it's starting to impact us. And you may not physically feel you may not feel stressed in the way you're used to feeling stressed. Stress can show up in your digestive system. It can show up in your physical health. It can show up in all of that stuff. So you just want to make sure you're taking time to interrogate what's coming in and what your feelings are. Hopefully that is helpful, because I definitely go through that, especially as somebody who is empathetic and who tends to feel things super deeply. Okay. So this last poem is called Wet, and I haven't done it in a while, and it inspired the title to my book, The Wedding Stone. I've got spit like gasoline, match tongue caged in matchbox teeth, flickering flames. When I speak, this conversation is not for the flammable. My skin like water, don't touch me if you do not swim. I'm quick to drown by embrace and make it look like an accident. Breath like wind and awe and wonder. I wonder, have you ever met a cautious wildfire? Or a tsunami with reason? You ever met a hurricane that begs your pardon, or a tornado that asks permission? See, I am of a treacherous kind, a lovely and mighty born, a solid and staunch bone, unapologetically blowing and burning and washing and building and breaking and bold and unashamed, birth or destruction, all beautiful disasters. There is no middle ground. Okay, so that's what, I don't do that one often. I think I might have done it like once, twice tops, since I wrote it, but it is in the book, The Wedding Stone. If you want a copy that has some of these oldies but goodies poems, you can go to QueenGPoetry.com and order a book. However, let me just warn you, we are out of books. And we have to do a reprint. So your book is going to take a little while. It's going to take it's going to take a little bit to get that book, because we're reprinting and we're resourcing our printing. So hopefully it'll be good and ready, and hopefully through this publisher it actually will be available on Amazon as well as on my website. So I just want to keep you all posted. You can still purchase that book, and that poem is called Wet, WHET. Not wet like water, wet like to sharpen a stone. Yeah, it's sold out. We sold out right now, but we're working on it. We are definitely working on it. I've been doing whatever I can do to make sure that book is back in print and available for you. Yeah. So yeah, it's sold out, but I'm working on it. Y'all. I'm working on it so that you're able to access that book whenever, and then you can get we can then refocus on our next project, because we got to move on to a new book. It's been a few years. It's time to move on to the next written project. But if you love oldies and goodies, make sure you check out The Wedding Stone. All right. Let's get into this, and I think this ties everything back together. It's a reminder for who we are. I talk about affirmations all the time. I am the affirmation maven, the affirmation aficionado, and I'm here to affirm you and realign you with what God says about you. Okay, so I'm going to share this with you. I've done it before. Some of you have heard this before. Some of you are catching this on the replay and you have not heard it before. But either way, I hope it encourages you. If there is something that sticks out to you, make sure you write it down. And if you don't, if I said it too quick and you can't remember to write it down, I freely give the audio for these affirmations and written copies of these affirmations. It is my gift to you all. It is a free thing that I offer and share with you, and I will email you a copy as needed. So please let me know if you need a copy. Okay, so they come in 2 parts. Get ready. Part 1. Actually, I'm going to slow this down. You know what I'm finna do? Since we're going to close out with this, I'm going to say a line, and then I'm going to give you time to say the line wherever you are. So we're going to do this together. I'm going to treat this like I do my affirmations in the morning with my students. That's what we're going to do. I'm going to say it, and you're going to repeat it. Eventually, they knew it, so they didn't have to repeat after me. But you guys are new. You're just learning. It's fine. Okay, I'm going to say the line, then you're going to take your time, and you're going to repeat it back to me. We good? If you got it, send me a heart so I know that you got the instructions. Send me a heart so I know you got it. Okay, I see heart. I see some hearts. I see some hearts. Okay, so we got the instructions. I'm going to say it. You're going to adjust it. If you are not a woman and you're watching this or you catch it on the replay, adjust it for yourself. If you do not identify as a woman, adjust it for yourself. All right? The windows are open, y'all. You know I live hood adjacent. It be happening sometimes. My apologies. All right. I am a whole woman. I am the birth of a legacy. Y'all better be repeating this. I am what healing looks like. Recovery after robbery. I am a conduit for joy. I am a metaphor for someone else's hope. I am full and fill wherever I go. I am only broken in ways that make my path straight. I am reclamation of dreams deferred. I am the fruit of faith and simultaneously its seed. I am what favor looks like. I look like my Father. I bring His holy wherever I go. I am increase. I am the aroma of answered prayer. I am the manifestation of everything promised to me. I am the tiller of my own soil. I am tapped into living water. My dirt never dry. With every breath, I flourish. On my lips are life. I am what abundance tastes like. I am an affirmation of the divine. I am the offspring of the I am. I am what I am because the I am that I am will ever be, will always be, all over me and in me and through me. All right. See, y'all are dope because y'all are typing it in the... You gotta type it and remind yourself. I thought y'all were just gonna say it. Y'all are typing it. Yes, I'm here for it. I love it. Yes, giving me life. The written word has power. Yes, speak over yourselves. Whew, I'm impressed. It was... I didn't know y'all was gonna type it. I thought you were just gonna say it like at home. But I'm very impressed with you all right now. You guys are killing the game. Destiny was like, phew. Zaynab said, yeah, that was hard. I'm sure it was hard. I'm going to need that email. I got you. I will send you that email. All right. I am now of the always has been. Amen. Okay, so I'm going to write down those who need a copy. And I will send you all a copy. said to say it. You can type it or say it if you want. I just wanted you to repeat it. So but I do feel, the teacher in me likes when you type it, because something about typing it helps to embed it in your brain. Actually, writing it down does that the most, really, but typing it also helps. Okay, and you can watch this on a replay. Don't stress yourselves out, y'all. Don't worry. Whatever works for you. You can say it at home or you can type it. Whatever works for you. Just make sure as I'm saying it, you are getting it into your system. All right, so here's part 2. Are you ready? This one is good because I need to say this one myself, okay? The love that is for me is coming to me. I am confident and do not accept less than I deserve. Everything God has for me is coming to me. I lack nothing. All I need is available to me through Christ. All I lack is fulfilled in Christ. I am wise and make wise choices aligned with the will of God. I do not need to fill any holes with false fullness. Hey, Monica. That's my prayer partner right there, y'all. My feet are like hinds feet and made to climb my mountain. My mountain is made especially for me. I conquer. I am the head, not the tail. I am the majority with Christ. Every mistake is a setup for victory. I am honest with myself. I hold myself accountable. I work harder than anyone I know. I am extremely disciplined. I believe God for the unbelievable. All I do is excellence. My beauty is enough for me. I am queen of spoken word. That doesn't have to mean poetry, y'all. That means that you are ruler over the words that come out of your mouth. I am the best in my craft. I will grow in favor with God and with man. God will be glorified in all I do. I will change lives. I will minister to souls. I am happy in my body. My body is a good place to be. I am healthy, physically, mentally, financially, relationally, and spiritually. Any changes I need to make, I am committed to making. I am smart enough. I am always more than enough. If I do not know, I am intelligent enough to learn. I can do anything through Christ. There is nothing out of reach for me through Christ. I will remain humble, grateful, and gracious. I am well loved, and that love is enough. Only the best love will find me. I will meet everyone I am supposed to meet. I am anointed for my appointment. My cup is overflowing, and I will pour into others every day. I decrease, you increase. I know it got a little faster there at the end, y'all, but I got 23 seconds left on this live. So I wanted to make sure I got through all the affirmations with you. Listen, thank you for kicking it with me. I love you all so much. I'm super excited about the launches that are coming up. Check out patreon.com/QueenGPoetry, QueenGPoetry.com, and I'll see you on all the socials. I will see you next Monday for Quarantine Creativity.